You did share your story when I asked you some questions during the Dev Spotlight, how back in the day you were on like the BBS, I don't know what you call like messaging system, the early internet days, spent some time in Southern California and got interested in web development there. Um, how did that how did that transform into your passion for teaching people about the internet?
Well, let's fast forward a little bit to my time in the beautiful scenic town of Miami, Oklahoma. Okay, I mean, I always thought that web development was interesting, but was constantly running around. There was a period of time when when I just didn't have the time to learn. It was interesting, but it was something I was going to do later. That was during my Southern California time. Because when I was living in Southern California, I wasn't living in Southern California. I was living in Mexico
Oh, wow. Okay.
because California is a beautiful place to live if you have money. Okay? If you don't have money, it's just as ugly and brutal as any place else in the country. So I was basically doing a 3-hour commute each way to and from work. This included a border crossing post-Patriot Act, working 8 hours, coming home, and subsequently passing out. So I really didn't have the time to really look at web development until I'd moved to Oklahoma. Okay. At that point, things were, basically a lot quieter. Things, you really didn't have much to do out there unless you were very religious or very addicted to meth, or had a gambling addiction, or drank, or had homicidal tendencies, or was a rancher. I didn't want any part of those. So basically, what I would do is thought to myself after a while, look, where was I at my happiest? And that was in the world of tech. So I would basically throw on YouTube videos. At this time, tutorials were just starting to break. We had people like Bucky Roberts from the New Boston. Okay. We had Travis Nielsen from Dev Tips. Scott Tolinsky was just starting to come out. Okay. And these were the videos that I watched. And whenever you watch, and then more people joined the whole tutorial thing, throughout the early 2000s, 10s up to now. The thing is, some of these videos were great. Some of these videos would rival anything that you would see on Pluralsight or Team Treehouse and were truly quality material. However, you had other problems, though. Some of them weren't. Some of these videos experienced problems such as, basically the content that they were covering were no longer relevant. Standards and best practices on the average upgrade at the rate of once every 6 months. Okay? This is taking into account the standard march of technology along with open source, the land of open source software, where we create and solve problems at a meteoric rate. It's very hard for the content creator to maintain a sense of relevancy and staying power for their content. Additionally, the problems I saw were concepts were not being described properly. If I want to basically learn about Express.js, and I am totally new to the Node ecosystem, I would like a little bit of background information on Node and NPM. Even 1 or 2 minutes just to basically describe it.
Some context.
You don't see it. People tend, and I started to lose engagement with a lot of these videos because you find out about a concept, you now need to look it up, which means you're now into another blog post or another tutorial. Next thing you know, you're down another rabbit hole. And engagement gets lost. Mm-hmm. And we have, other issues such as, You know, some content creators are great with interacting with their community. Others aren't.
Right.
So there are potential places where basically web tutorials, whether they're subscription or YouTube based, where a drop off of engagement occurs. Okay. Now, I found that for my own learning style, a traditional classroom environment works, and it works well. You're getting answers in real time. You're teasing apart concepts that are not typically described in a video. You can give background information that basically time constraints of a content creator cannot address. The problem is, and I tried this in a classroom environment at a local community college. And the problem was this: state curriculums take years to go from their initial proposal phase to the point that they hit the student's desk.
Mm-hmm.
As a result, if you are expecting to go to a post-secondary educational institution and learn the latest and greatest in the web technologies, then you've just been hosed for a few $1,000.
Michael, listen to this. I was looking at this college curriculum the other night, and it was a 2-year degree in I don't know what they called it, like web tech or something. And it was a focus on web development. And the stuff that they described in their curriculum was 10 years old. They were talking about image maps, XML, just a whole course on XML. I mean, it was ancient. I couldn't believe it. And you know, it's $400 a credit. It was unbelievable. I can't believe that that's even legal. That's a worthless degree.
Basically, however, there are certain things that a classroom environment can provide us. And I have, before I get started on that, I do have some anecdotal stories about that to tell as well. In 2015, I took a class to get my associate's degree out of the way called web design.
Mm.
The book publishing date was 2010. Now, I'm on the autism spectrum. And I have this evolved sense of ethics. The two of those together can be a dangerous thing. Because I'm sitting there with a yellow highlighter going through this book like a mad slasher. Wrong, out of date, that worst standards font ever. I would go on the forums and say, okay, this is how you really do this. I'd link to these articles.
Mm.
My teacher didn't like me very much as a result of it. But, you know, I'm like, look, I'm going to basically reiterate something that you told me when you handed me the syllabus. We're all responsible for our own educational experience.
Mm.
So she kind of cringed and put up with it. And
did you pass the class?
Yeah, I did, with a C, because by this time I was basically conflicted between my moral, my sense of ethics and, basically playing the game.